Purebred Spanish Horse Stud Book. The history of the Purebred Spanish Horse Stud Book began on the 13th of January 1912, when the Royal Decree for the Ministry of Defence was signed. This decree created the official registry for the most representative equine breed in Spain. In the first volume, published in 1913, there were 163 stallions and 765 mares, owned by 44 different breeders. The main objective of a stud book is to guarantee breed purity, by certifying that a given horse descends from a purebred stallion and dam. Most livestock species have their own pedigree register, and in the equine sector, this register is known as a stud book. The oldest stud book on record is that of the English Thoroughbred, dating from 1791. For almost a century, the purebred Spanish horse stud book has been handled by the armed forces of Spain, originally through Cría Caballar y Remonta, or the General Equine Breeding Office. Today, it is an independent organization known as the Cría Caballar de las Fuerzas Armadas, the equine breeding organization of the armed forces, whose extraordinary work has been fundamental for the breed. In 2007, the government of Spain, through the Ministry of Agriculture, granted the National Prey Breeders Association of Spain, Ancce, the most representative organization in the sector, the task of handling the Prey Stud Book. The Prey Ancce Stud Book. The Prey Ancce Stud Book is the only official register authorized to issue documentation that is an international guarantee that a horse is a Prey, the initials in Spanish for purebred Spanish horse. The main Prey Stud Book office is in the city of Seville, where all the services are handled and documents issued for all the Prey horses throughout the world. Currently, breeders from more than 50 countries are breeding Prey horses, with more than 17,000 being registered annually. More than 180,000 horses are listed in the stud book database. Behind these statistics is the intense work performed by the stud book staff and the professionals who collaborate in the various services described herein. Identification for inscription. When a Prey horse is born, it is identified by the stud book veterinary representative. This includes inserting a microchip into the left side of its neck, completing the graphic description and taking a blood sample, although in the past, horses were tattooed inside their lips. The blood sample is sent to the laboratory to verify the parentage, which demonstrates that the foal has the parents declared by the breeder. It is compared with the samples available from the sire and dam, and if the foal is compatible, the registration process continues. The foal is then given the name proposed by the breeder, followed by a Roman numeral when necessary to differentiate it from horses with the same name. It is then registered with a UELN, or Universal Equestrian Life Number, unique for each horse, which contains information relative to its year and country of birth. This is equivalent to the official ID number issued to humans. Lastly, the Equine Identification Document, EID, is printed and sent to the breeder. This is also known as a passport, and it proves, throughout the life of the horse, that it is a purebred Spanish horse. Assessment for approval as breeding stock. For a horse to be considered basic breeding stock, it must be revised, a process which can take place any time in or after the moment the horse turns 3. The veterinary representative examines the horse to verify that it fulfills the breed prototype and has no disqualifying defects. The If the horse passes this initial basic evaluation, it is awarded a certificate of basic approval, with which the horse is officially considered purebred Spanish equestrian breeding stock, and its offspring can be registered in the stud book. If a breeder wants to include a horse with basic approval as breeding stock in the stud book's register of qualified breeding stock, the horse may be presented at an additional assessment. In this case, the conformation and behavioural characteristics are examined, as well as a veterinary and radiological examination and verification of the reproductive apparatus. Stallions must also pass a ridden test to determine their aptitude for riding. Since 2003, Ancce is responsible for the purebred Spanish horse genetic improvement program, which includes an additional 3 breeding stock categories. These are listed in the stud book after passing a series of tests. These categories are young recommended breeding stock and, as of 7 years of age, improver and elite breeding stock. Change of ownership. To guarantee the purity of the breed, it is essential that purchases and sales be followed up. All breeders must complete a document known as the ownership card, which is signed by both the vendor and the purchaser. The latter then sends it to the stud book central office, together with the change of ownership application form. Once processed, a new ownership card is issued in the name of the purchaser, who is then registered as the owner of that horse. More than 10,000 ownership changes are carried out annually for purebred Spanish horses. Coat colour genetics. As an additional service, the Pre-Stud Book offers breeders genetic coat colour studies of their horses. This is, on the one hand, a system to certify the coat colour of a horse in its documentation, and on the other, an integral advisory service when seeking to obtain horses with a specific coat colour. Thanks to a web tool and with information about the genotype, a study of descendants can be made depending on the horse it is crossed with. With this, it is possible to select the appropriate breeding stallion or mare to obtain the desired coat colour. The Pre-Stud Book has a sophisticated inter-base communication and information program, which maintains all those responsible for its handling in contact, both in Spain and abroad. In addition to the main office staff in Seville, there are also veterinarian representatives in Spain, as well as international collaborating associations, international representatives. The Stud Book website offers all the necessary functions for breeder interaction, including specific tools that can be used to find horses, predict descendants, make online payments, and other services. High levels of quality, effectiveness, and reliability are essential when handling a stud book. Its development and progress in recent years, with important reductions in the time required to carry out the various services and issue documents, has earned the Pre-Stud Book international recognition. Today, it is considered a reference model for other equine breeds, especially in Europe. The Pre-Ancce Stud Book, a guarantee of breed purity.